In the heart of one of the world's most modern cities lies a quieter story. One shaped not by modern development, but by the scent of incense and the resilience of community faith. Meet Professor Francis Lim, a sociologist who spent 2 years documenting these shrines, their stories, and the people who care for them.
Generally, my research focuses on the intersection of religion, society, and culture in the Asian region. Specifically, I look at how people create sacred spaces, how people utilize the internet and social media for the creation of religious communities, and how they adapt all these new technologies into their everyday life. I was very much intrigued when I was young by the ubiquity of the shrines in Singapore. I remember when I was young, when I was visiting my grandmother, I would always go past Upper Thomson Road, and I would see this shrine, this little shrine next to a tree. And over the years, this shrine just grew bigger and bigger, and finally became a small temple. In a country like Singapore, highly secularized, urbanized place, it's very interesting to find so many shrines if we care to open our eyes to look around us. So this is something very interesting culturally and socially. And I want to find out more about the stories of such shrines and how they contribute, in fact, to the overall urban landscape of Singapore.
These shrines, often nestled under trees or beside drains, are maintained by ordinary residents. They are not grand temples, but they are no less sacred.
At the individual level, we know that, of course, Singaporeans or residents in Singapore still maintain a high level of religiosity. So at the societal level, we know that Singapore is a very open country, and Singapore welcomes many immigrants as they want to settle down in Singapore, as they seek integration in Singapore. And one small way to do that is to, of course, install a particular deity, the statue or idol, such shrines, and also to participate at the everyday level in common religious activities together with other residents in Singapore. For example, it's not just the Chinese deities that are being worshipped as many of these Chinese informal shrines. We see also the incorporation of Hindu deities like Ganesha, Kali, Durga, and also, for example, newly arrived gods and deities such as the Erwan or four-faced Buddha or the Nangkwa from Thailand. And such shrines, in fact, serve such important societal function as well. I'm the co-producer of a documentary film, Gods on Earth, Everyday Sacred in a Global City. This documentary was co-produced with my fellow researchers, Professor Hua Kun Eng, and it was directed by cultural historian, cultural activist Lin Wong. And it was funded by the Singapore Chinese Cultural Centre. In 2017-2018, I was fortunate, I was honored to be invited to present a talk on the vernacular shrines in Singapore, and following from that talk, the centre graciously provide funding for further research on the vernacular shrines in Singapore. So part of this particular project was the production of a 30-minute documentary film on the shrines in Singapore. It was a very interesting and wonderful experience. The research team went to different parts of Singapore, visiting hawker centers, car parks, different neighborhoods, trying to find out different kinds of shrines, talking to different people, devotees from different backgrounds, religious, socioeconomic, and ethnic backgrounds, and ask them stories. And we often hear very fascinating stories.
Why do these shrines matter? Because they remind us of something deeply human, the need for protection, remembrance, and presence in an ever-changing world.
One interesting finding is how individuals, groups of individuals or small communities are able to negotiate with the authorities of the state. So for example, there are many instances where the shrines have to be cleared right, for further redevelopment of the area. But we have also heard how, through the persistence and resilience, continuous work of the devotees, working and negotiating with the authorities, they have managed to keep the shrine and allow the shrine to continue. Another interesting aspect of this research is the role of certain charismatic individuals. There are some shrines which are, of course, led by charismatic individuals, and they can be, for example, spirit mediums. They are bomos, for example, and on certain occasions, there will be religious practices or activities being conducted so that people would come to these shrines and seek consultations with the spirit mediums at such shrines. Making of this documentary, not only have we discovered different parts of Singapore, but we have also heard fascinating stories, right, of the devotees and stories surrounding the shrines that enriches our understanding of the religious and cultural heritage of Singapore. Singapore's religious cultural heritage is not just about the temples, the mosques, the churches, and so on, but also about the stories of the shrines, which are everywhere. And they are not just the Chinese shrines or Hindu shrines, they are the shrines which reflect the ethnic pluralism of Singapore, such as the Datu Gong Shrine. The devotees are mainly Chinese, but they celebrate Hari Raya, for example, right, at the shrine. So this really reflects the inter-ethnic and inter-religious harmony. And this is something I think is very important for Singaporeans, this openness to be accepting of different cultures, different religious elements in the everyday pursuits. And of course, this is a continuation, upholding of Singapore's multiculturalism and multi-ethnicity at the grassroots level without the prompting of the government. And I think this is something that has to be treasured, should be treasured and valued by Singaporeans.
Through these shrines, we rediscover Singapore, its people, beliefs, and everyday heritage. They reflect a lived multiculturalism, quietly shared and worth treasuring.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe and follow us for more groundbreaking research from the world of academia. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we dive deeper into mindful compassion art-based therapy, MCAT, and the research behind healing the healers.